Welcome to QLO Time Qs, a podcast powered by Quick Loans Online that helps you with your financial and professional journey in 5 fast questions. We know that you're always busy during the day, and we're here to sum up all you need to know to accelerate your career growth and money mindset. It's a great day to learn and add a little bit more to your financial knowledge. I'm Matthew, and I'll be today's QLO podcast host. Our episode today is perfect for those who want to be financially ready whatever happens. Today's questions will revolve around financial resiliency and to equip us with the right mindset and how to prepare for any sudden changes. We invited Anthony Luis Guanzon, the Deputy Chief Marketing Officer or Deputy Head Integrated Marketing and Communications of Malayan Insurance, who is a company that stands in the forefront of non-life insurance. Welcome to QLO Time Qs, Anthony. How are you today?
Hey, hi Matt. I'm good. I'm good actually. I'm excited for this podcast here.
Yeah, same here. It's a pleasure to meet you virtually. But before we start firing out questions, can you tell us a bit more about Malayan Insurance?
Yeah, sure. So, as you know, Malayan Insurance is part of the bigger conglomerate, which is the Yuchenko group of companies. So it's very diverse in terms of industries we're in. So RCBC would be one of them, banking, Mapua, EEI in terms of developments. Then Sun Life Grepa would be a life partner also under the whole Yuchenko group, and of course Malayan Insurance. For Malayan Insurance, I think we've been in the industry for about 94 years and counting. So we've been the number one non-life insurance company in the Philippines, and we continue to really build and innovate towards keeping this number one spot, of course, and with changing times, especially with this pandemic and everything that's been happening.
Yeah, sounds good, no? Anthony, I would like to ask a question lang. What do you guys cover for the non-life insurances?
Oh, okay. So general insurance non-life, so that really stretches from corporate and retail. For me specifically, we the marketing team focuses on retail, the retail lines for Malay, and that would be your car insurance, your property insurance, or retail fire, your personal accident. You know what? We even got into pet insurance.
Wow!
And,
really?
So it's all those. But of course, it's really non-life insurance or properties, assets, lifestyle, travel insurance, of course.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Now, I'll be starting off with our 5 fast questions. For the first question, what is the financial resilience and what does it mean to be financially resilient nowadays?
Okay, so based on the actual definition, of course, just so I can say it again for everybody, it's the ability to withstand life events that impact one's either income or assets. So that's the definition. But usually it's towards those unexpected events. It's being ready. So for me, financial resilience really boils down into planning and understanding.
Yeah.
So planning is definitely a word that's synonymous to finance and protection, because since financial resilience is basically the ability to be ready, prepared, or just basically prepared for those unexpected events. So that's key. Planning, that's one. Then of course, then understanding, that's another. Like I mentioned, planning and understanding. Understanding is actually it correlates very much with planning, with the access we have to so much information nowadays, tools, actually even people, the kind of network we have. So it's planning and understanding that really drives financial resilience for me.
Okay.
And to the definition itself, it's really being prepared, being ready to withstand unexpected events that really impact your assets or your income or even your health.
Yeah, and I certainly agree with that. And in a way, having some partners like Malayan Insurance really gives you an edge towards those unforeseen scenarios that life can throw at you. Question number 2. Why is financial resilience important nowadays?
Okay, so definitely it's important. It's a matter of the degree of importance for the individual. So say for me, maybe for people, some may find health more important than say investments.
Okay.
Or some may find education more important than properties. But nonetheless, financial resilience is basically financial resilience on importance really depends on the person in terms of his focus or his priorities.
Correct.
But definitely, to me, what I would possibly be what would be more important for me in terms of financial resilience would be my health and my future possibly retirement. Since we're not getting any younger, so in that aspect, where financial resilience kicks in, or why it's important is I have to find different ways to be ready in case I suddenly get sick. Or of course that impacts everything. It's so expensive to get sick nowadays.
Yes.
Then for my retirement, of course I'm young. That's an advantage for most of us. So it's a time to save. I know it's when you start earning, it's one of those times that you just want to keep spending because you have that financial freedom. You might think, but that's for now. But see, that's when financial resilience comes in, because basically passive income is something you want to get into. But you're possibly spending something today that you think you can afford tomorrow, but in fact, when something bad happens, that's where financial resilience kicks in. So for most of us, yuppies, I guess I could say.
Yeah, it's really important to be financially resilient, especially in the long run. I like the point that you mentioned that you might be thinking of the now, but at the end of the day, it's a long-term commitment to oneself in terms of the resilience that we have, whether be it financial, and no one wants to be a burden to other people. Those are great points. Here is our next question. How can someone attain or build financial resilience?
Okay, that's a great question. And actually, it's great because honestly, in our generation or today, like I said earlier, understanding is key, planning definitely. But accessibility has been so much every single day. Everything it's just so accessible. Do you remember the time when basically the only way you could watch a movie is either you go to the movie house, possibly rent from Blockbuster or basically mga VHS Betamax, or then everything that exactly. That's still may tower records by everything, all these, and now it's so accessible. I mean, Netflix and ads, online ads. So, in my opinion, it's actually the streaming of all these information. It's now trying to get the focus or the right one out there. It's the credible one. It's basically the right one, the right information because of the overflow of information and access. So you said it's how do we attain financial resilience? So keeping yourself informed is one key thing. That's why I kept saying understanding and planning. So with access nowadays, this could be attained by as simple as going online. You could check out digital banks. It's so easy to access now. That's one venue you can start in terms of I guess saving. You could learn all of these in terms of how to be financially resilient simply by going online and just getting all the info, talking to someone you may know who's into investments, who's into business, who's into insurance, definitely. Then basically tapping your network. So before the question is basically how can I attain or build financial resilience? My focus here would be definitely information first. Keep yourself informed, and the access is all out there. So better to just keep yourself informed so you know where or which source to tap. Then you can build on from there in terms of financial resilience.
Yeah, I agree. Information is really flowing right now. most especially with the access in the internet. We just need to filter the right information that we will be applying to our personal life, and also identify the believability of that information, which I certainly agree with you nowadays that there's tons of information in the web. Question number 4. Anthony, on your personal perspective, how do you probably discipline yourself to attain the financial resilience that you want to have in the long run?
Okay, so in that sense, it's more of understanding first my priorities, my needs, my what interests me, because that's one key factor with, I think that we downplay its interest. So as with everything, if you're passionate about something, that's when you actually do drive it. And being financially resilient is actually a behavior. It's something that you build on.
Correct.
So finding those right points, my one would be your priority, 2 would be your accessibility, your hobby or your interest, and then, as I said, understanding all these venues, talking to the right sources, you'll find where it goes. So in terms of me specifically, it's just so amazing just going back into how everything is so accessible, and you don't notice this, but I bet you've tried Lazada, Shopee, you've tried Grab Express, you've tried app salary-based loans, or even digital banking. Yeah, you never notice it as much, but insurance is actually embedded there, which is a tool for financial resilience. So when you're getting your Grab Express, having something delivered, you notice upon before you actually book your driver, there's an insurance there for, I think, as low as 7 pesos, 2 pesos, package insurance lang for your parcel. That's already a sign, or that's already a tool that our everything, because of accessibility, is pushing. That's already financial resilience, because if you lose your package right there, that's unexpected, that impacts whatever you bought, and it's covered by insurance. So you're being financially savvy in a way. If you know it's a long trip, it's coming from somewhere far going to you, and it's something that might be valuable to you, and it might be stolen or it could get lost because it's a small item or something, and you insure it for as low as 5 pesos maybe, or 10 pesos, just through Grab siguro. And that's already a sign or a behavior you've built, because you're more conscious about being financially resilient. So for me, it's one is keeping yourself conscious as well. I keep myself, as your question, just going back to your question, I keep myself financially resilient by understanding where I am today, my advantages and foresight. So I'd say I'm relatively young, so it's a good time for me to start investing. And my access could be, and my knowledge could stem from understanding life and non-life insurance because of the industry, and also understanding how much my capacity is to invest. So I'd say I can invest this much rather than I spend it, purchasing something that, So that's one. So I understand that. Now I know where I should go. Now, part of that also is not just understanding your capacity, but you also have to understand your basically your liabilities and your priorities. Liabilities would fall under debts, or the moment you purchase a vehicle, that's already a liability, because the moment you nalabas mo yan sa casa, essentially the value goes down. So if I want to be financially resilient with my vehicle, this is a shameless plug, but you got to get a car insurance for it. That's where it factors in. Traveling abroad, I might lose my luggage. I plug in my travel insurance. I have a dog. Now, might get sick with vets. Now, there's certain companies out there that do cover for your pets. So, so those are ways to be financially resilient as early as through smaller items, properties. But the bigger run, the long-term ones, that's basically life insurance, investments, savings. There's ways you also manage through loans that would work out to be financially resilient. So it's more of just knowing your understanding my liabilities and my priorities.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. In the sense that insurance are really great instruments, but having also other priorities, just like what you've mentioned, there are people that have other priorities, might not be able to purchase an insurance for themselves. So what are the other options? So just like us in Quick Loans Online, we provide that financial security in times of unforeseen events that might happen to one's life. So yeah, but at the same time, on a personal note, Anthony, you mentioned that small things add up in the long run, and it builds a big discipline towards personals on the person side. And thank you for sharing that. And for our last question, what financial tools or products in the market can they avail to protect their family, income, assets, and properties?
Okay, so I know it's all tied into the whole conversation, but the good thing about today is with our generation at least, things are just so highly customizable.
Correct.
You know, I mean, you already mentioned your service, the QLO. Basically, you're customizing the loan to be financially resilient in a way. Because I know it's a loan, but it's actually financially resilient because it's based on the capacity of the individual.
Correct.
So rather than, you know, somebody who borrows money, but I know I couldn't pay that back tomorrow or the next day or even soon. So that's already a risk for me and the risk for the lender. For you guys though, it's financially resilient, or it supports that because simply you base it on my capacity, and it does help me out. If somebody got sick, I don't have extra money, I can use it. Or I need to pay for school maybe, and I don't have the extra money, I can use it. But again, it's safe-ish because I mean it bumps to my capacity. Now I just have to have the discipline to actually save outside.
Correct.
So tools wise, everything is so accessible nowadays, and that's just talking about QLO. I mean, going into insurance, that's another thing. Nowadays you could actually purchase insurance online, and you don't even have to talk to an agent if you want to do. I'm traveling tomorrow, or I'm traveling this weekend. If I want travel insurance, I can just go online, purchase, pay online, even through whatever. The payment options are limitless nowadays, and I'm already insured in a matter of minutes. I get it through email and I'm good. So in terms of accessibility to tools, it's all there. And like I said, the customization, you mentioned that the pricing, not everybody can afford maybe insurance, can afford to open a bank account, but the good thing is everything's just so accessible. I mean, I know it's a shameless plug, but digital banks, Discartech is actually an RCBC bank that covers to the underserved or the unbanked. So you don't really have to have a credit history or a bank history to open one, but it does push financial resilience because it reaches different scopes of the metro and outside even the provinces. You can have access to a bank and just there. That's already the start of financial resilience.
Correct.
So in terms of cost of insurance, or how it might appear to be expensive or only available to those with money, it's not true. It's very and highly customizable, and it's just a matter of, again, planning and understanding where to find and maneuver through those.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, in terms of the unbanked sector, in our very own little way in QLO, we serve these people who have either bad credit history or without any credit history. So that's how we serve them, and in a way, these people, we can serve them through other instruments or tools in the financial world that they can leverage on when unforeseen times happen to their lives. So yeah, I agree with that, with all those. And then probably my final question for this session is, there are many institutions offering financial products in the market. How does one choose the right financial product and company for their needs? Knowing that there are a lot of companies right now and the access is very easy, how does one filter out the credible one from the not so credible one?
Okay, so Okay, that's a good question. I'm trying to package it in the best way possible. So again, going back to where we discussed it, I have to understand where my priorities, liabilities, and what I need in this at this point. Then there are definitely key institutions across. I mean, lots of them across different needs. Like for example, life insurance. You have the likes of AXA, the likes of Sun Life, Grepa, Sun Life, AIA, all of these. Now it's a matter of, it boils down, honestly, they kind of provide the same, even with most companies, Paymaya, GCash. For the most part, the base foundation, it's there. They provide the same service, or at least the bare minimum, hopefully.
Yeah, correct.
Services. Where it differs now, if you're say picking the right company, it's now a feel, or I guess the best offer. I mean, it's always, I mean, in the market, it's always about price sometimes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to financial resilience, what matters for me, at least, or in my opinion, is actually the track record, or the servicing.
The servicing, I agree.
So I could get the cheapest rate for car insurance, just making an example, for car insurance, but when it comes to claims, I couldn't get it. It takes me weeks, or the agent might not even answer my call.
Correct.
Or after I'm sold a policy, I'm already, that's it, I'm just a number after.
Yeah, transaction type of
exactly.
No?
And that's why nowadays what matters to people is actually the customer experience. It's a big factor because everybody's selling the same thing, but it's now customer service and distribution. So I don't know if it's okay, but I'm naming companies based on my perspective as a consumer. You have your wallets, your GCash and your Paymaya. I'd go for GCash simply because of the accessibility. As a consumer, I could use it everywhere already today, and it was heightened further by the pandemic.
Correct.
Now, in terms of insurance, I would probably rely on a company that's been there for X number of years. So, I mean, for car insurance, I definitely go for Malayan because it's been there for 94 years.
94 years, yeah.
And I may be biased also. But,
Yeah.
but again, the claims, it's the claims and servicing that matters to me. But again, everything's so accessible. So even you can just go online and find the right ones, get research. So key is really when you choose the right one, get the feel of it by yourself, get feedback from people who actually tried them out, and weigh in the pros and cons, and try to find that differentiator if there is, because the differentiator doesn't always fall on pricing, doesn't always fall on interest rates. There are intangibles that are actually big factors to why you should go for that institution.
I agree with that. Yeah, it's actually not the best price or the cheapest price that will be the best possible solution for your current needs, but also the other aspects that we have, especially with customer servicing or the relationship building, because you might be caught into a transaction, or you might be a transactional type of client, and in the long run you might end up having more headaches compared to someone that might not be the cheapest at the time you purchased service, but gave you the servicing that you really needed. So it speaks for them, the pricing also, the servicing that will be alongside with the price of good or service that you just bought or purchased. So yeah, well, that will be the 5 questions that I have, Anthony, and what a ride it has been. Anthony breezed through those questions with ease. I love the insights you shared and the mindset that we should have to prepare ourselves for any uncertainties. So I certainly also love the point where Anthony, I think this is really something that a lot of individuals can relate to, is the small steps towards the bigger goal. Meaning the discipline right now that he mentioned, those identifying where you are, what level, and what are your priorities right now. It really speaks to each individual in a sense that discipline would be really key, but at the same time, having the information, lots of information, but identifying the key information that will lead to better decisions for a long-term goal. So Anthony, I can't wait for our listeners to start preparing for their journey towards financial resiliency. If you have any more questions, you can send us a message and we'll do our best to answer them. Anthony, before we say goodbye, would you like to announce or share anything to our listeners?
It's just like a portion where I can do the shameless plug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Well, basically, I'm just gonna say Malayan Insurance is always here. It's very accessible. We have a website. You can purchase anything online, and it's straight for the most part. And credibility-wise, we've been here for X number of years.
94.
We haven't 94 years actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, I gotta end it with just saying "insure to be sure" with Malayan Insurance.
All right. Thank you for that, Anthony. And to wrap up our episode for today, for those who are curious about Quick Loans Online or want to send questions related to career and finance, just send us a message on our social pages on Facebook at www.facebook.com/QLO Philippines. And that's QLO Philippines. And on LinkedIn, just search us using QLO or Quick Loans Online. See you guys on the next episode for more answers to your Qs. Thank you.